can. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to cut you into the stream, and I'll share my screen as well.
All right. I actually just realized you're on the same server as my free-to-play account.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
All
So
right, cool. I can
I'm
see
actually
what you're
playing
doing.
it free to play as well at the moment. Well, I have been. But first, I'm playing on LD Player, and I couldn't work out how to connect a card. So I was like, it looks like I'm free to play. And then it's actually just turned out to be quite a good thing anyway, because at least you're experiencing what other free to players experience, right? It's always, I think it's quite a good sign on a new game if free to players can kind of keep up.
Yeah, this game is especially free-to-play friendly.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Do you think almost too much so?
I'm a big spender actually, and I've kind of ran out of content to be honest.
Even on the free to play as well, or are you finding the free to play there's more stuff that you can do because you're not just blowing it all up?
I got plenty of stuff on the free-to-play. Like Twilight right now is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Twilight's actually super fun, but when you're trying to rank, if you're on a super competitive server, it's a bit stressful.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's have a bit of a run through my account. So
Okay.
for those who don't know, Dan, perhaps just give a quick intro of yourself. I know we've kind of spoken in the past over numerous games. Actually, I know you cover a lot of games, but yeah, give people a bit of a feel for what you do.
Yeah, I still work full time, but I'm a YouTuber. I actually have two channels. My main channel originally started with Summoner's Glory back in the day, long time ago. That's when I kind of talked with Hell Hades a little bit before, but
Yeah.
my second channel is actually about to pass my first channel, which is kind of
Is it?
funny in terms of subs now from Eternal Evolution. So yeah, I'm almost at 6,000, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm making a lot of content for Eternal Evolution. It's my main game, so I'm having a
And
lot of fun with it.
did you just set that channel up as Eternal Evolution like launched for that game, or was it a channel that was already kind of ticking over with something else?
I got monetized with Diablo Immortal,
Okay.
um, and
Yeah.
then kind of quit Diablo Immortal, so I just swapped over the channel because I just enjoyed Eternal Evolution so much. I wanted to like dedicate
Yeah.
a whole channel to it because I figured I'd be covering it for a while.
Yeah, sure. I actually was so close to starting a full channel on it. I was so close. I was like, around Christmas time. I was just like, my videos are doing really well for Eternal Evolution, and yeah, there was a massive player base kind of growing, and it still is growing.
Yep.
And I was just like, do I do it or not? And I didn't really want to put the pressure on myself to have to kind of do what I do with Raid with Eternal Evolution. Like I thought, if I can do maybe 2 or 3 videos a week on my main channel, dropping them in, that felt more comfortable to me, like than trying to kind of do the grind on another channel. So I don't know, man. How do you do multiple channels and keep it going whilst doing full time, like employment as well?
Yeah, it's a bit rough. I wake up at like 6 a.m. and I have like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I try to bust out a couple of YouTube videos, and then I start my job. But my main
Yeah.
channel is definitely not as active as my second channel now.
Right. Okay. Okay. And how are you finding the kind of feedback generally from the community, the player base for Eternal Evolution?
Oh my God, it's a crazy difference between Diablo Immortal and Eternal Evolution. When I was in Diablo Immortal, I'd get a crazy amount of views, but no one was really staying to watch the videos. No one was really subscribing to the channel.
Right.
And I get so many negative comments. And then I swapped over to Eternal Evolution, and the community was like so positive, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I've been looking for this and looking for that." And I had so many people even messaging me on Discord saying, "I appreciate everything you do, and you're awesome and all this." And it's like it was such a difference. It was crazy.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, I found obviously like I've covered Raid for a long time, and a lot of the Raid player base that came over and started on Eternal Evolution were just kind of saying that, you know what, it's just a breath of fresh air. Things like the events that they drop. So over Christmas we had a really cool event that they just put in with a kind of different mechanic to try and get involved in. Things like I guess the availability of the top tier heroes, and then the ability to still be able to actually level them up. All right, it
Right.
might not be that you can kind of take them to absolute max evolution, but honestly, I mean, I'm playing free to play for 10 weeks, and I've got quite a lot of decent level. Not all of them, but I'm kind of picked off one at a time, really, the SSS heroes, and been like, right, that's the next one I'm going to throw my gene hybrids into. And yeah, I mean, it's very accessible, and that's kind of like the tipping point. Is it too accessible? That's the only thing which in my head I'm still not sure that they give it enough longevity. Like if I'm a spender, I would be everything's maxed. Surely as a spender account, I think you just max it all out so quick.
Yeah, and I've kind of hit the point where it's actually kind of nice because I don't really have to spend anymore because now I just kind of build the new heroes as they come out. But yeah, I have noticed in my guild, like I had to remove 5 people today that have been AFK for a couple days. I think a lot of the high spenders are hitting the point where they don't have a lot of content. We really need more dungeons. Like they got to go to level 20. They gotta put in the immortal gear, and they got to give us a couple more difficulties on Ancient Altar. And I think that would give us a couple, 3-4 more months to, really for them to get some other stuff going.
The end game, like gameplay right now, is basically Twilight Lands, as far as I see it. Twilight Lands, pushing stuff like Soul Mine, pushing stuff like the never-ending campaign. But that's probably, Twilight Lands is cool. The Soul Miner stuff's probably not as sexy for like an end game. Like that's not like I want to be there for my end game. I want to be pushing, and like you say, the Ancient Altar. That's where I want my end game to be. It's actually a really fun fight. It's a really kind of complex setup, and like you say, perhaps pushing more levels of stuff like the Disa and Paradome and that type of stuff to just make you think more. But all of the progress stuff I found really enjoyable, like really fun. So I guess maybe we'd dive in and perhaps just give me a bit of a critique around teams that I'm using, perhaps stuff that I could improve. And some of the guys around here, maybe those that play Eternal Evolution already, you can start to kind of get some ideas around your team comps. If you don't and you want to, by the way, when you're looking through this, if you do !EE, there is a link that you can use for my stuff. But either way, I would recommend, if you've not tried it, you actually should try it. It's a really fun game. And I know that talking to the dev team, they are looking at that kind of longevity stuff. So the stuff we're saying here, which there's always kind of fallbacks for these new releases, it can definitely be improved, and they're definitely working on it, but we don't know how quick that stuff's going to come, obviously.
Right.
I don't know, do you have any insight into kind of, I know we've got new heroes and stuff dropping on a regular basis, which we see, but have you had any insight around timings on the next content release?
Not really. I actually get less information than even some of the mods get, right? Some of the mods are privy to some information, but the content creators, we don't really get a lot. We know the same that everyone else knows.
Yeah. Okay, so Disa, I recently subbed out Serena. I always had Serena in here as a frontline healer for Botmark. Basically, Botmark drop defense, 2 nukers. I just love Daniel pretty much in everything, so he seems to come in all my teams.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah. Any initial thoughts around of changes or things which don't make sense here?
No, you get to a point where you kind of just overpower this dungeon and you just throw 5 damage dealers here. In the beginning, like in the very beginning, you kind of want 2 healers that will kind of help you progress a lot. You can run like 2 healers and then the rest DPS, or you could run 1 tank, 1 healer, and then the rest DPS. But yeah, once you get to the stage where you can beat 15, you can just throw in 5 damage dealers just to beat it quickly.
Yeah, as I was progressing, I didn't start on a server which had all of those kind of cool events, right? So my Emma was low level for quite a long time, and I actually just used Taylor really as my damage dealer, and I did what you said there. So I had 2 healers front line. I had Taylor pretty much doing all my damage with Nagrama. So Nagrama was one that I managed to level up really quick through the event. What was it? The Rise of Heroes.
Yeah.
And then basically once I got Leo, I was able to then go on and do level 15 because Leo just frontline tanked the lot. It was just ridiculous, like in terms of an upgrade for me.
Yeah, you actually did a great job at picking the first 3 triple S's. It's like the trio there. You got Emma, you got Leo, and you got Daniel. Those 3 are just insane.
Yeah.
The next one's kind of Masrani, and I noticed that your bot mark dies right away. You can actually put Masrani in the front, and if you have him EX20, he gives a big attack buff to the back too, because your bot mark right now isn't really doing much.
Yeah, you know what? I recently, and this is the first time I've done this and he's died, so I changed his build from pretty much a tank to a damage dealer build based on some feedback some of the guys had said from my video recently. And they were like, oh, I just use him as like full on damage. I used to have him with like HP, damage reduction, and that's the first time I've run it since that change. And obviously, I mean, he can no longer front line. He doesn't have any tanky stats anymore. But
Right.
yeah. But yeah, so you'd run a Mazrani in that front, which makes some sense.
Yeah, I run Artas in the front
Do you?
for my
Okay.
team, or I just run 5 all-out range damage dealers. So Artas
Yeah.
throws up the debuff, same thing.
So Taradome's the only one where I've not cleared of the normal dungeons where I've not cleared 15.
It's
So
rough without Bailey. It's rough.
Okay,
But
so I'm doing
actually,
14
13,
here.
14, and 15 all have the same loot. So
Do they?
I don't know why it's that way.
Right.
But honestly, you can run 14, you don't lose anything.
Okay, so 14 I do comfortably with this squad. It felt like all of my assassin-based heroes, like my Semway and or summoner-based, I guess. Semway, who else have I got? Who kind of fits that? Whatever this guy's name is, I never remember. Palazzo, is it? Yeah, they're my stronger ones, but actually they don't go in the circle. And I was using Taylor to jump him
but
in,
you're forced to manual it, and it's annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of, so I had Taylor on manual. Yeah.
Yep.
So this was working full auto for me on auto, so I could at least get something going. But I couldn't do 15. 15, I was just losing people.
Yeah, the only point of doing 15 is to get those limited tickets from the time rewards.
Yeah, okay. That's weird.
I do 15 on my main just because I have a fast team. But yeah, it's at least according to the loot tables that they show you, it says there's no difference.
Yeah. And is that similar with the other dungeons as well then? Because I feel like
it's only this one. I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, my Disa definitely felt like it was upgraded when I moved to 15.
Right.
Do you find then, so as a later game player, which dungeon are you kind of focused on to improve your account nowadays?
There's 2 prototypes in this dungeon that are really hard to get. The Red Thorn and the Vision Stone. For some reason, they have an extremely low drop rate. So I'm still trying to get those. Once I finish those, there's no reason for me to ever come in here again. But so what I do is I buy 10 stamina every day, and I use 2 extra stamina in all 3 dungeons, and I do 5 runs in all 3. And then that gives me a little bit of leftover because I'm kind of starting to save up stamina for when they introduce new dungeons and Immortal Gear. So that's what I've been doing, just 5 in each.
Yeah, so originally I guess in the first 2 months, I was always buying full stamina. And originally I was farming Disa as much as I could. I then kind of moved my focus into Taradome, because I just felt like this was where I would get most bang for my buck in terms of improvements. And it felt like most of my guys at least had the legend, or was it, what's the white gear called? Legendary gear or whatever they call it. So it felt like I didn't have massive upgrades.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the beginning, I tried to get a couple of the red commanders, and then I just split basically all of my stamina between Disa and this dungeon. So, because the prototypes are actually quite important too. It kind of has like the Great Hall effect, right? When you collect all those prototypes, you get bonuses for your whole team. So it's pretty good to get the prototypes up and running.
Well, should we, before we go into the Sarah Marsh, prototypes is probably my area that I change around least. Like when I'm doing runs, if I got a run that just works, then fine, I'll leave it in. But I also, I don't know, it's almost like there's too much information to really kind of like get under the skin of it. So do you have some, the only ones I have as go-tos are like Pain Rune alongside Flashpoint when I'm running Leo.
Those are my most 2 used in the whole game.
Okay. So yeah, same. And I find there's often fights where, in fact, there's not even, for the middle prototype, there's not even one that I need, like that directly improves anyone on my squad.
It's because you don't have the Prism Amulet yet.
So that's where you would normally throw that, right?
Yeah, once you get that one, even at level 9, you'll use that over everything as long as you're using a Vanguard. That Red Thorn you have up there that's not leveled up yet, if you're using longer fights with like hunters and single target, that is extremely good.
So where would
it actually beats even the red prototypes?
Oh, does it?
Yeah. That's the one I was saying that's extremely rare. It took me 1,500 stamina to get 1 copy of that prototype.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So I need to be punching this one in. So where would you be using this one then? For things like the Ancient Altar and stuff?
Ancient Altar for sure. Guild hunts. Just the regular guild boss. You could even use it in Disa, and it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
It's quite good. Just basically stacks up your attack like crazy. And especially when you're running people like Emma and Taylor, attack is just king. And even Leo.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Are there any others here which I've not really
Oh, I
leveled
guess
out,
that
which
probably
are
doesn't work for Leo, actually. I think that's only Hunter energy, right? Yeah, energy
Hunter?
and
Yeah.
Hunter. Yep. Okay. As far
Yeah.
as the other ones, that blue one right there, Vision Stone, is the other one I was talking about. That's really rare. That one can be decent if you're using a debuffer. So if you have either Creed or Artis or Botmark, that just is more damage. But I still think Red Thorn is probably that one's probably better in shorter fights if you get a debuff up really quick. But then the Red Thorn's probably better in longer fights.
And you'd use those over maxed Prey and Eye, would you?
Yeah. That one's good. You'll use it when you have like 3 teams and stuff. When you have, damage dealers in multiple teams, you'll use that one also. But yeah, the Red Thorn is really good.
Yeah. I guess this one, because Emma doesn't really get built with crit, you start to lose the
Exactly.
benefit. Yeah. So since I've
Exactly.
changed my build, that feels less like originally when I was using Taylor everywhere, I felt like this was the one.
Yep.
But actually probably changed a lot. Yeah. And for
And
things like the mythic ones, then this is the only one I've picked up, which I just got from this time round Twilight Lands. Are you
it's
using
okay.
mythics wherever you can, or do you just find that because their base level's low, they're not really strong enough to be bringing in?
It depends on how many copies you have, what level it is. Right now, like the stats are going to be lower using that than a
Yeah.
level 60 yellow one for sure. And that one only works on AoE heals. So for someone like Serena or Bada, it doesn't work very well. Yeah, if you had a
Okay.
max level, then yeah, it'd be good. And I see you have the energy one. That's the good one for energy one. That flowing rune on the left there, the one that you have at level 30. That's a really good one to use if you're using a lot of energy heroes. That one can be really good, like on the Spider Guild boss when you have a lot of AOE damage dealers hitting multiple targets because they just continuously use their ultimates like crazy.
So it's worth me taking. So I've actually got enough to take that to 60 if I had enough
Yeah,
stuff.
so that
Probably
one
not.
I use
Yeah.
that one in Twilight, and I use that one in. Sometimes I use it in Twilight. When you get to the end stages of Twilight, you have to use Pain Room pretty much. I guess you don't have to. That one can be used really good in Twilight if you're using like energy stages, and if you're doing the guild hunt where you're hitting the spider boss. That one's
Okay,
really
cool.
good.
And do you use any of the epic ones?
Soaring Rune is a really good one. That one on the top right there. Soaring Medallion, yeah, that one. That one can be pretty good. Again, it's kind of like replacing hunters, but I still got to do a little bit more testing once I want to once I get my red thorn max.
Yeah.
This one's pretty good. It's kind of similar to red thorn. It just increases the damage instead of increasing the attack.
Yeah, so Sinsara Marsh, I mean, I don't know if my team is the best team out there, but I absolutely can just blow this level up. Like, this is the highest level. And I think it's because I managed to get a decent kind of Evo on my Daniel and my Leo, and Senway's doing tons of damage. Honestly,
My Daniel
it's
can
almost like,
solo this dungeon in less than 30 seconds.
oh, okay. So maybe that's the difference because I feel like, yeah, maybe it's since he came in, I was not even really considering the fight anymore. I was just blowing it up.
Who do you
And
have exclusive 30 so far?
I've got Emma, maybe Emma and Masrani. I think just those
Okay.
two.
Do Daniel next.
Yeah, I did ask about Daniel. People were saying perhaps didn't really get such a big value gain from Daniel compared to some of the others. Do you
No,
think,
he is a monster. When he gets EX30, it like doubles his damage.
does it? Right.
Yeah, it's insane.
What's your thoughts on Ampu in comparison?
I think I'm gonna exclusive 30 him next. It sounds like he's kind of just okay at exclusive 20, but I
Yeah.
think at exclusive 30 he might be a little bit better. So I want to test him out there. I don't know. It depends on the new healer actually coming in. We got the summoner healer coming in, which is going to be quite interesting. I'm gonna check
Yeah.
out her exclusive 30. But yeah, Ampu was kind of the next person I was planning on doing just because I wanted to test him out. I have
Yeah.
8 exclusive 30s right now, so I have quite a
Do you?
few.
How many do you have on your free to play? Do you have any?
I have 2. I did Emma first and then Daniel second.
So I've only just really got people to that type of level. I think Emma was the first one I did, EX30, and I've gone for gluttonous. Really, just with stats other than that, I didn't have a set that made sense, but tried to push up the accuracy and attack.
Yeah, what's your total attack if you hit info? Okay, 70k.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go either full attack or gluttonous plus attack. If your full attack has more than like 10%, or more than like 10 or 15% more attack than your gluttony set, the full attack might even be better still.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, just because it's all about attack for her. Gluttony is good, but it only gets roughly like a 15% damage bonus for her. So if you have, 10% or more or 15% more attack in a full attack, then it's the same or better.
And how much accuracy do you kind of push on her build?
It's kind of a nice to have thing. Accuracy is actually basically useless in PvE unless she has, like, Emma does have an ability that says when she hits 100 accuracy, her bombs do extra damage, but accuracy actually has no effect in PvE. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, only because I'd seen some of your info on it, actually. So the only reason why I've got, which I thought was so weird, the only reason why I put it on was for the kind of stun part of her precision shot.
Yeah.
But again, like you say,
maybe I finally got my Emma over 100 accuracy. I used a little bit of the guild tech, and then I have so much gluttony gear that I finally had some with good accuracy substats, so I finally was able to get over 100. But yeah, you have 70k attack though in gluttony, so that's actually pretty decent. So that, you may not see a big difference if you go. I would probably just leave it in gluttony, and just once you get better pieces, like I noticed you had a broken set there, try to get an attack set for that.
I've got maybe I showed a couple of other builds. So Daniel, I think I've just done an all attack set.
Yep,
I think I've just done all out attack basically.
Yep.
All out attack. What's he?
What's your exclusive? Is it 10 or 20? I
think it's 20. Yeah.
Okay. So you got 400. Man, do it right now.
Should we just do it? I've been pretty pretty calm using my stuff, honestly. Like I didn't want to, because I am free to play, I didn't want to like push stuff too much.
He's totally worth it because he just changes the game for everything. You'll use him a lot in Twilight. He just does so much damage and all the stuns and everything. He'll actually skyrocket your story. You want to use him on manual, and you actually want to put him in the middle row because then you can right off the bat, you can drop the bear and just stun like the whole enemy team.
Okay, cool.
And
I did see a really cool video today, actually, from Veiled. I don't know if you saw it, when he was using him alongside Aniruda.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool combo where he's kind of like, Aniruda's basically pulling all the minions together, all the mobs together, and then he's just dropping the Daniel nukes on top. Yeah, I did not see that coming. It was actually very cool. So,
I've had such bad luck with Annie. I've done so many advanced summons, and I actually ended up using all of my Twilight shards towards Annie just because I have not had luck getting him in the summon pool.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. I don't even have him immortal yet. I have almost every triple S immortal besides him, and I don't even have a copy of Guan Yu because we haven't had Guan Yu in North America yet. And your Leo is EX20, right?
EX20 on the Leo, yeah. And I basically
eventually you'll want to do exclusive 30 just because he's so good, but honestly his exclusive 30 is not that great. The actual ability, you kind of just do it more for the stats.
Okay. I've really changed his build so many times, actually. But at one point I had him just all out attack and like just attack percent everywhere. I've switched him more into a tanky frontline build now with a kind of mixture of attack, damage reduction, and HP, but still in attack sets. Yep. I can't really work out what I like more. Like, obviously, I love the damage spins, but also this one feels like it was better for maybe Twilights.
Yeah, what I do is I try to get attack percent main stat and then HP percent substats, and basically just whatever set is the best piece I have between either an attack or an HP set.
Okay.
So that's how I do it, and I try to get some damage reduction as well.
Interesting.
But yeah, because I tried him in the beginning with full HP and damage reduction, and I actually found him less tanky because he doesn't have as much lifesteal.
Yeah, this is what I saw. And I think I changed to this build because some people are doing it as like almost like the solo build for the Twilight Lands, and I thought actually that's very cool. And and I was struggling to kind of Twilight is really where I've struggled to push furthest, so I was trying this out, but I don't know if I prefer it or not. Like you say, it doesn't heal as much or as quickly, but yeah.
And when he's taking a little bit more damage, he actually ultimates more often. So then he ults more often, he gets more lifesteal. So it's actually pretty crazy. He's the number one in the game, hands down.
You think
no one can
even
touch
above
Leo.
Daniel?
Leo number one, Daniel probably number two.
Yeah, they're both crazy, right? Yeah. But surrounding, so healers, I've pretty much gone for a similar build on all of them. He is EX20, but that's because of his level. Actually, yeah, that was what I was going to do next. He was the one I would have done next. So I'd gone for Abundant Set alongside Radiant.
Yep,
and
perfect.
I've just basically just gone HP everywhere, and I've just tried to find substats with more HP on.
Yep.
Do you look for
in
anything
Twilight,
else?
when you get near the end, sometimes I swap my boots to damage reduction if he's dying. But if he has no trouble dying, then yeah, keep the HP in there because it gives him the most healing.
Yeah. Okay. And you did the same build for all healers, do you? Basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
How's your Taylor?
So I kind of got a mixture of crit rate, crit damage, and attack.
Your crit's a little low because he needs the crits to trigger his exclusive that gives him more crit damage. So I would try to shoot for at least 50, if not like 60 or 70 crit, even if it costs you a tiny bit of crit damage, because it'll take him a little bit too long to scale up.
Yeah, I think I actually switched from crit. So I had crit rate gloves on. I decided to push into crit damage, but
I find it really hard to get into crit damage gloves. You need really good subs or a lot of crit sets. I find crit rate gloves on most of my heroes still,
really?
even with a lot of gear. The kind of like the cookie cutter build for damage dealers in this game is like roughly 60% crit, roughly 60 to 70% crit damage, and then the rest into attack. That's what most people do for most of the damage dealing heroes. Obviously, there's a lot of them who can't crit, so for those you don't, but for the most part, that's what people are shooting for, 60 and 60.
So more like that, closer to 70 crit, 60 crit damage.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
And some decent attack. Yeah, that looks good. Just because he needs the crits to get the extra crit damage. So if you're at like 40% crit, you could have some bad luck and you're not scaling up that exclusive very quickly.
Yeah.
Soriata is pretty good in the early game. I kind of phase her out a little bit though, just because she gets power crept by some of the other heroes.
Yeah, I actually mainly like her for her CC. I think if I use
the
it,
knockback's nice.
Yeah, it's generally because I'm struggling to control enough stuff, and just I tend to manually knock stuff around. But
right,
early game, she was probably her and Taylor were my carries really, and before I had the Leo and these type of guys kind of coming in, I pretty much had Oisa, Taylor, Soriata, and Serena. That was like my 4 in every team, and then it was just like a fill. Whoever could do a job outside of that. Obviously, he gets stronger and stronger. What's your view on tanks here? I've got Leo as a frontliner. My Crete is very low level, so he's not really in a spot to kind of come in and do much yet. But
in Arena, the meta is triple Vanguards.
Triple? So what?
Because the Hagridon, the new commander, the new Triple S commander, it needs 3 Vanguards. So most people are using Leo, Crete, and Artas.
Okay.
And it's just it's kind of toxic just because everyone's using the same teams, and it's basically just flip a coin to see who wins.
Right. What's so good about the new commander then? Why is he?
It gives them a bunch of healing. It gives them a bunch of stats for your whole team. As long as you have 3 commanders, it's quite insane. It basically full out replaces Gautier. The old commander, Gautier, the non-triple S, was the go-to for every assassin in Vanguard. And then when Hagridon came out, it has the same exact ability, but it has more stats, and it has all the PvP bonuses, and it has all the triple Vanguard bonuses. So it's better in every way.
Oh, damn. So rather than bring someone in to be an option, they're actually just kind of hard, almost half buffed.
And Hagridon actually works on other heroes like Rez and Taylor and Muka. It doesn't have to be a Vanguard or Assassin for it to work. Anyone who uses any displacement skill, they get that shield.
I wonder if I've got any to level out, actually. I
think it even
this
works
is something
on
I'm just not good at, is thinking, right, I'm going to go into like commander mode. I don't know. I just find like there's too much going on, really.
Yeah, just level them up to 10. And see which ones they roll. That's unfortunate. What's your other one there? Yeah, okay, it's got Rakana, but nothing amazing. But yeah, you might want to level one up just for PvP because which Gautiers are you using? Do you have a really good Gautier?
Not the best. I'm actually using one that just gives me a lot of stats. So this one here, I think it's this one. I don't have one that actually kind of fits any of. And
defense is actually quite bad in this game.
I think I'm using one that just gives me a lot of health.
Yeah, so I would level up one of the Hagridons because they give you more stats. Just the overall flat stats in the top right are better with Hagridon. So you might want to level it up and just see what you get with the extra ones there. Middle, front, defense, assassin, of course. Level up the other one too, because I think the other one actually, if you have materials, level up the other one too, because I think that one had, yeah, that one at least has Rakana on it, so at least it has someone useful on it. Front attack, okay, at least that's useful for Leo. So you
So
might want to use that one just because it's better in every way.
do you use Rakana like generally?
Kind of trash in PvE, just gets unless you're facing a Rakana, they just eat your whole team. But in PvE, kind of squishy. In PvP, kind of just okay. I think I use it in my Galactic Arena team and in Summit Arena, but other than that, I don't really use Rakana at all.
Yeah. How far did you get in the Summit Arena?
I always am top 8.
Okay, that's nice.
My server is crazy competitive. Like
Is
it's
it?
wild.
Yeah.
My entire server, or sorry, the top 10 of my server all beat Twilight Chapter 15 in the first like 4 days.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
That's
So
mad.
like I was like going ham. I was spending, 6 to 8 hours a day in Twilight just to rank.
Yeah. That's actually mad. Yeah, I mean, Twilight's probably I've missed a couple of days this time, so I'm doing this kind of free to play challenge on Raid. But it's the first time I'd beaten the Forest of Greed, so I took that down, and then I'm kind of getting to this point again where I don't know. I just feel like I'm starting to get stuck, or I can only do like a couple of levels a day.
Yeah. Yeah, these birds are really annoying. They were actually bugged out for me. My Leo was dying through the death immunity. So
Oh,
this
really?
specific stage took me like 6 hours, but I think it was like chapter 14, 7. But it's the same enemies.
Yeah. What? So my go-to is basically Leo, Mazrani, and then I pick 3 which kind of fit the level. That tends to be like my default if I want to just kind of try and beat stuff. And it tends to be something like either Daniel with Emma. Depends if I actually need to hit like, some sort of specific. So it would be Daniel with Palazzo and Semway if it was like summons, for example.
You can actually, first of all, you always want to use either Hagridon or Gautier almost every single time. Like you almost never want to use another commander ever.
Yeah, so I don't know why that one's on. I normally had my Gautier on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You use the Hagridon, that one with attack in the front, and actually take the 2 middle guys out and put search by Vanguard, and then put 2 pieces of food in the middle.
Why is that?
Just because to get the triple Vanguard buff. And then now just try it with that.
So you wouldn't take Artas and Crete if you've got them?
I guess you could put artists there. You could put artists. I just sometimes like you just need the triple bonus because every time they get hit, they get heals. So it's kind of funny because
for this commander, right? Okay.
Yeah, with the Hagridon, yeah.
Okay, let's see how this works.
And then definitely take Daniel manual and throw it.
Yeah,
because he'll probably throw it on one of them and he won't hit any of them.
So Daniel, you play in the middle.
Yeah, but not for this stage. This stage specifically, those birds hit the middle row and they'll kill anyone in the middle like instantly. That's why you put a piece of food there. Or you put someone like an assassin who jumps, or you could put Taylor there who you could jump out of the way. But this is kind of like a gimmick that some people use on this level. It's kind of funny. You just use it to get the buff. And you'll see that poof of air and it'll go through and it'll just annihilate your middle row. You could also do like double healer in the back as well for this one, but Daniel's going to help you get it down pretty quickly.
And do you always manual with Daniel?
Yeah, because his AI is kind of stupid. He'll target one hero. Like he'll be able to hit the whole team and he'll throw his ult on like the front right hero, like way off to the side, and it'll only hit one target.
Yeah. I probably don't manual stuff enough, honestly. I always kind of did. If I was struggling on campaign type of stuff, I'd manual with Taylor to get him into the kind of right areas. Sometimes I manual with Leo to try and make sure that he's always ulting in the right type of spots, but probably not enough heroes that I do that with.
There's not a lot you have to do it with, but AoE heroes, it's quite useful just because they don't try to hit the whole target, the whole team. They just they like pick someone randomly and then just put the AoE on them and they miss like half the team.
For your
Yeah.
setups, would you generally kind of focus a specific type to help you get through these? Like, so summons or hunter, I guess, are the two which I would normally go for. But is there something else that you would do
I
for like your
basically just
setup?
avoid assassin and tank bonds. They're
And
like impossible.
yeah, I find that there's just not enough good. I guess there's not really SSS level good quality tanks right now. Is there? Like you've
No,
got a
and
number
you
of.
don't want to run Masrani in the back if you can avoid it because he gives a huge attack buff. So you want to run your damage dealers in the back if you can.
Okay, but would you still run this same commander then with this squad, even though it's hunter based?
Yeah, I would. Just because Leo needs the big shield, otherwise he can get instant killed pretty easy. And
But
this
yeah.
one, you're just trying to break the shield on that middle target there. Yep,
So,
yeah, you got no problem breaking it, so you're good now.
and would you normally be manual in to make sure that happens? Then is that what you mean?
Yeah, because sometimes there's multiple, and sometimes like you have to break like 3 of them at the same time, and it's quite annoying. The hero Pregor and Moriami, they can really make this a lot easier, especially in like chapter 14, just because they're AoE hunters, so they can just take all 3 shields down at the same time. It's kind of
Ah,
nice.
okay, nice.
Yeah, you just throw it on auto and they just literally AoE all 3. They can cleave them. It's pretty nice. Yeah, Vanguard's pretty easy for these. Summon's pretty easy. Hunter, you'll have trouble with Energy Bond because you don't have Luke and Ravenna built yet. At least
Uh,
in the hard stages. I guess in the early stages it doesn't matter too much. You could use Kane's pretty good. Falvia's pretty good. Nagrama is actually a beast.
Yeah, I use Nagrama a lot. I tend to use Nagrama, Sorietta, and Ravena,
Yep.
but my Ravena's not brilliant. Okay, but not brilliant. Not kind of well built, or well, just not a high Evo level.
And Senway is actually a monster.
Yeah, semi I use a lot.
Kalaza got a big nerf when he got switched from a hunter to a summoner because he can't use prototypes anymore. And he's just been kind of weak since that
Okay.
happened.
Who do you use then in as a kind of extra summoner here?
Well, I use Skewer, but
Yeah, I don't have Score at all.
Muka's not very good. Ampu, you could either just take Kalaza out and put in Serena just to help keep everyone topped off. Because those bugs kind of do a lot of AoE damage.
So
It also depends
you
on
would
how your
lose
Kalaza
the
is built.
yeah
You
you
don't
lose
need 3 out
the
of 3. You can have 2 out of 3, and you still get the bonus. You just don't get as big of a bonus.
okay, cool.
Yeah, you need a minimum of 2. You see how it's still green? So you
Yeah.
need a minimum of 2, and sometimes on these, just because there's so much damage going out, and I would put Daniel in the middle on this one. Yeah, I'd put him, yeah, like that, exactly. And then, manual him, and you drop as soon as it starts, you can drop the alt and hit all 5.
Is there a way to turn off this before we get going?
It depends on the last level that you used it. So when you finished, if it was on manual, it should stay. No, it's super annoying. I go to
So I
1x
missed this
speed
dude.
because sometimes you can't even catch it before.
Ah,
Yeah, I go to 1x speed and then it's easier to take it off auto.
would you just retry at this point if you missed that dude?
No, he's
Depends
not
how we
going to
do, I
really hurt
suppose.
you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
more worried about those 2 bugs. So whenever you do the AoE, just try to make sure those 2 bugs are in it because they do like a ridiculous amount of damage. And Taylor is going to hurt too. But you can just kind of let Hercules beat on your healer just because he doesn't do a lot of damage. If it was someone different in that, then sometimes you have to worry about it. But since it's Hercules, he's not going to really hurt your Masrani that much because you got your Masrani EX20.
How do you feel about like healers being able to tank up this much damage?
I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very different. Like, there's so many levels where I was going with the kind of normal format of tank, healer, damage. Certainly early on, and people were like, "Why don't you just tank with your healer?" And I'm like, "What? Tank with a healer? What do you mean?"
Especially my
Yeah.
healers now. My Masrani is fully hyper evolved, so he's basically level 360, and I have him in damage
Right.
reduction boots. He is hard to kill.
Yeah, I bet. How many guys have you got hyper evolved?
Almost all the elites, but the triple S's are really hard to hyper evolve because you have to place top 10 in Twilight to even get a stone to hyper evolve them. And it's
Yeah.
like 70 million experience to fully hyper evolve a
Wow.
hero. So
So
this level, you're definitely going to want Daniel, actually. You can do probably, yeah, Maserati there, Daniel. Yeah, that's probably gonna work. You don't really have a good this one's really hard again without I guess you're what chapter is this again?
This is chapter 9, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it should be okay.
I
It's not
think
till later where you like really need to have like Ravenna and Luke fully built out.
I
But
seem to
this one,
remember
you
like the last
basically
time.
you want to
Sorry.
put everyone on manual for this one, and you don't even want to attack until that little dragon spawns on the left. And then as soon
Oh,
as you see
okay.
the 10 on there for the shield, you just focus everything on it. Daniel can actually hit all four with his AoE. And then
Yeah.
you just focus the ad until it's dead, and you just ignore the boss and you just kill him by accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think last time I fought this boss, my energy guys all died, and I went with a second team, and it was actually my summon team. And the summon team, like, nuked it. You know, I'd Senway doing silly damage because he does a lot of AoE damage anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just actually worked
Summoners
out
are
that was
so
better.
crazy now, and I can't even believe that they're putting, after they did Daniel, I was amazed that they did two more brand new Triple S
Yeah,
summoners back to
same.
back. That blew my mind.
So, okay, so what? You're dropping, like, Daniel's
No,
ult
wait,
on.
wait, wait. Go to cancel. Drag to the top right to cancel. Wait till you see the shield that says, as soon as you see the 10, it happens the same exact time the boss will do that AoE right there.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now put Daniel. You can actually hit, like, go over to the right a little bit more and make sure the boss is highlighted. There you go. Look at now you're hitting all four. Now go back a little bit. Yeah, right
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right there. So you can hit all four and then instantly go grab you can leave Leo pretty much on auto here if you want. It kind of just makes it a little bit easier. And leave Maserati as well if you want. And then yeah, manual yep, Nagrama into there and Sorietta as well. They're probably only gonna have to hit him, unfortunately. But yeah,
Yeah.
leave Maserati so he can continue to heal. And then drop Daniel now right on top of the same four again. And just keep on focusing on that ad till it's dead. And then the boss will all right, now save your ults again, wait for it, because as soon as the boss comes back, he's gonna resurrect that ad and just
Yeah.
can rinse and repeat, do the same thing. This level
Okay.
actually can be quite hard once you get to the end chapters. This one
But
is the actually one of the only levels I use Nautilus. He's actually really good here.
yeah, I just started to level mine out. He's actually better than I think people have said he is. Like, he seems like he does quite a lot of work.
I've tried so hard to find a use for him besides this exact level, and I don't know
Are you
where to
not
use
finding it?
him.
I
I
feel like
have
he does
mine
quite a lot
with
of
like
damage, but
400% crit damage, and I just can't get him to to do damage.
huh. Compared to who? So who would be your? I suppose Luke would be your go-to, would he?
Well, for the problem is he's an energy hero, which is usually AOE,
Yeah.
but he's single target. So he just like I don't know. It's kind of a weird place. He excels in this level specifically because he just like blows up that ad because
Right.
he gets extra damage because he's an energy hero.
Oh, it's actually very easy when you manual stuff. It's like I tell people this stuff in Raid a lot. You know, like you do not need to just leave that auto running. Once you
Right,
understand the strat, it makes
right.
it so easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, this one's funny because you kind of just ignore the boss and he just
Yeah.
dies by accident.
So what is killing the boss then? Is it the
Your
damage
your
that happens
Leo,
after?
your Leo and your Daniel is
Right.
what's killing the boss because when you do the Daniel does a ridiculous amount of damage. Turn on your damage meter. Like Daniel's probably doing a
Oh
ridiculous
yeah,
amount of
he
damage.
is.
Yeah, look at
Oh
that. That's why Daniel's so good at EX30. Yeah, look at that. He's
yeah, he
doing
does
double the
crazy
damage your
damage.
Sorietta is.
So do you think they're going to be bringing out kind of like next level gear, mythic gear, you know, and kind of that's the next direction for the game? Because it doesn't feel like there's hard enough content apart from PvP perhaps to do that right
Yeah,
now.
the next gear is immortal. It's already in the game. Like if you go in the gear filter, it'll have immortal gear in there. So
Right.
it's like in there, but I think they'll just give us 5 more levels of dungeons with immortal gear. They have to be careful on how much stats they give immortal gear cuz already the content's so easy. So if the gear gets like crazy stronger, I mean, they're going to have to add a
Yeah.
lot of content for it to be hard again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What's your kind of favorite content in the game at the moment?
I was loving Twilight when it first came out. It's just I've never seen a game mode like this, right? And with like
Yeah,
the
definitely.
leaderboards and everything, Twilight's really fun. It does get kind of stressful when you're trying to rank.
Do
I feel
you
like if I was on an easier server, like the server we're on, actually, I forgot, you're on the same server as my free to play. I'm like rank 30 in here, and I've like barely tried.
really right? Just because
Yeah.
you know the tactics basically to beat the stuff, right?
Yeah, and this is a pre-global launch server. So this server came
Yeah,
out what, like 3 weeks before global launch.
that's right. Yeah,
So I think I don't know if people re-rolled for global, but there just wasn't as many players, right? Once global hit, I feel like this game got a lot of hype.
yeah,
Launch was actually huge. Like it was way bigger than like Infinite Magic Raid, for example.
yeah. Definitely. I was surprised. I mean, I was saying like my videos. Normally, when I do videos on a different game on my main channel, I might get, I don't know, somewhere around like 6,000 views. And I normally get really low percentage likes. Yeah, it's something like 60 to 70% of people like the video versus a raid video where it's like 95 plus. But
Right.
for this game, it was not like that at all. I was getting like 15 to 20,000 views and like still high 90s in likes. And I was like, wow, this is different. Like people are really enjoying the game.
Yeah.
And I definitely kind of noticed it in terms of, you know, traffic that was coming through. It started to peter off a bit. I guess they've, you know, like anything, you need to keep going with the marketing, that kind of initial push of players. How many of those are still going? But yeah, they've done so much right. It would be a shame that, you know, it'd be a shame if, sorry, they kind of let it peter out a bit with
Right.
almost because it's a little bit easy. It's a bit too easy. You know, which is weird. It's not what you'd normally. It's not the reason why people would normally stop playing, but
Right.
it is really where it's at. It's just a little bit too easy. Apart from the stuff which doesn't feel as rewarding to continue to push, I guess.
Yeah. Man, I noticed a huge difference when I swapped from Diablo Immortal to this game. When I was in Diablo Immortal, I was getting a lot of views, but I was only making like 100 or 200 bucks on YouTube in like per month. I swapped over to Eternal Evolution. I made $2,000 my first month, and I was like, "Whoa,
Wow.
what happened?" You know? And I was getting just like slightly less views, but people were watching the entire video. You know,
Yeah.
in Diablo Immortal, I feel like they came in, they watched 5 seconds,
Watch a
left a
little
nasty
clip.
comment,
Yeah.
and then left.
Wanted to see if you were pro or not, and then they were gone. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the
Yeah.
community's been awesome for this game. There's just a lot of positive feedback in the game. It's been great.
I've got to, as of 2 weeks ago, I'm kind of beating up hell, and I think I'm now like in 3 key hell territory.
Yeah, let's see what
2 or
teams you're
3
using.
key.
Okay.
So the first team, really, honestly, it's Leo versus the boss. Like the rest of the team are a little bit of a, I just kind of thrown him in,
Right.
and it's my kind of fight that I care least about. I do
Right.
get some work done with Leo.
Can you get a couple stacks off the boss?
Yeah, I normally get a couple off. Yeah, I
Okay.
guess I'll run it in a second. Team 2, I think I kill this boss normally. So Artas frontline, Senway, Kalaz are doing damage with Daniel. So this is basically just my summoner team.
Okay.
And then Team 3, I've not run it since I changed this bottom up build actually. So I'll be interested to see if he just goes down. But I was basically tanking with Serena, and then Emma doing most of the work for damage.
What kind of damage are you doing in here?
I think I was doing like 30 mil.
Okay.
That sound right?
You're close.
Something
You
around
need
that.
35 mil for a 3 key?
Then more than 30. I definitely 3 keyed it because I was able to then put
Oh, okay, perfect. 3 key is all you ever want to do in here. That is the best amount of loot.
Oh, okay. So there's no point trying to improve from there, no?
No, there's literally no
Weird.
point. 3 key has the best loot, which is another thing why it's kind of weird, right? You know, this is supposed to be some really hard content. I'm not even using full teams. I have no one in team 1. I have a team 2, and I have 3 heroes in team 3, and that's my team.
Oh, really? Right. Yeah. I really like this content. I really liked working my way through this. The challenge of the different bosses. You know, which team should you build out more? So I feel like they're on the right lines with this. You know, it's a once a week boss, which is a little bit weird because you actually forget about it until Sunday. Then you're like, crap, I need to do it.
This is the best loot in the game right here.
Yeah, it's huge loot. It's loads of. I mean, this is people say to me, where are you getting all those limited tickets from?
Yep.
The summons, and I'm like, it's here. This is where they all come from. I guess I'll let this run through.
Yeah, so you get on average you get 40 limited tickets in here, 51 pieces of white gear, 16 gene fragments and almost 40 advanced tickets from Three King. It's quite a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the trouble you've got, so you've got two things. One, should they just add the next level on, make it harder, which would make some sense.
Right.
But if you do that, then you need a better reward for doing it. And the reward is already like so stacked high.
That's a good point.
Where do you go? Like, where's like, how
point.
much more could you give people out of this fight? So
Right.
they just kind of set themselves up. They're just super generous, which I know a lot of people love because it's so refreshing. They're not just after. Obviously, they're a business. They need to make money and stuff, but that's not all they're about. And that is refreshing to see. But also, you've got to balance that with, people need challenges to kind of keep the interest as well.
Right. I know, because if they introduce the higher difficulty, that probably means they have to introduce immortal gear.
Yeah.
So then you got the 4-piece sets with immortal gear, and actually someone in Discord said, what if they just add an additional substat instead of changing the main stat to a higher number? And I was like, actually, that's kind of a good idea. Gives you a little bit more RNG, so that means you have, it takes longer to max out your gear, and it doesn't introduce like a huge power creep.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
That is a good idea. Definitely something they need to consider. Like, I mean, I talked to just a contact that I talk to on like a daily basis, and he's not a game dev or anything like that. Just said like, so close here. You're so close to like, you've got the community on side, the game's really fun, the visuals are cool. It's a bit too easy. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to come back from that.
Some ads, some people were saying they saw my face on some ads.
Yeah, well, I saw my face on some ads as well, which I was just kind of like, I haven't done these ads. Where does this come from?
Oh, you saw your face on some ads too?
Yeah, I've seen your face on some ads. I've seen my face on some ads, and I was like, well, I didn't do these.
That's funny. I at least signed a contract with them for those.
Yeah, they've got like basically they've taken clips of. I don't know if it's actually Eternal Evolution that have done it or if it's other people, but they've taken clips of like summon videos. Yeah. So I saw me and I was like, hold on a minute, I haven't done this.
That's funny.
Yeah, cheeky. I didn't really know. I was looking at it, I was like, do I want to say something here? And I was like, you know what? I don't really need the aggro of it, but
right.
it is a bit much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because someone was like, it was funny because someone was like, oh, I saw your face on one of the ads. I was like, really? I was like, that's weird. I just signed my contract. We haven't even done the script yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they asked me to do that. They asked me to do ads with them. And I was like, well, I've got this thing going on with Stu where he's kind of like calling me out as this greedy bastard. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do ads to kind of back that up. So, and then next thing I see, I'm on an ad and I'm like, guys, I thought we said I wasn't going to do any ads. And I didn't record any ads and you've like clipped your own. He's like, well, I don't know anything about this.
I haven't seen them yet. I haven't seen it. I was trying to get someone to send me like a recording of it or something, but I haven't seen the ads yet.
It's only on Facebook that I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be floating around Facebook. Because that's the one thing I would say. Like they had this initial push of a lot of players coming in. And I think it was mainly through content creators doing videos on their channels or just being interested in the game. And they seem to advertise a lot on Facebook, but I'm not really seeing like that normal push of advertising elsewhere. And I wonder if that will just impact the amount of kind of viewers that everyone gets going forward. Because are you still seeing the same sort of level of viewership as you've had up until now? Is it dropping off or kind of similar?
It's kind of similar. It might be. I don't know. It's kind of, for me, when I first started, I had like 1,000 subscribers, like maybe 1,200, and now I have like 6,000. So I feel like my channel's been growing. So maybe the audience is slightly tapering off, but I have more, subscribers to the channel. So I feel like I get a little bit more visibility.
Yeah, makes sense.
See, you actually almost did too much damage. So the next time you actually want to turn some skills off because you need to deal at least 15 million damage to get the max rewards. So if you were to do this again, you'd be left over with like 3 million and then you wouldn't get the full rewards.
So where is that saying that?
Why there. You see that 15 mil? Yeah. You see level 4, 15 mil, you get white gear and that. So if you say you left the boss with only 3 mil left, then you'd only get the very top like level 2 reward.
Oh, I
So
see.
these are the
Okay.
instant rewards. And then
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
click
Yeah.
milestones, those are the rewards you get on Monday.
Yeah. So this is what I'm working towards, but you're saying actually the individual key that you're doing is those
Yeah.
instant
You get
rewards
2
you lose out
rewards.
on.
You get the instant damage reward, and then you get this after the reset on Monday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
you
I'm.
actually, next
Yeah.
time you
Okay.
do it, you actually want to, like, once you get to like 20 mil damage, you might just want to turn all your heroes off auto.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. So and that's a shame because like I mean for me on raid, clan boss was always the kind of fun challenge. It was always the thing I wanted to min max and really push. This felt like it was going to be that here as
Right.
well. And it's just again, it needs the next level. It needs the next level of scale.
Yeah, it does. This
Um,
goes from like super hard when you don't have a big roster to like
yeah,
super easy once you have the right heroes.
yeah. And I definitely felt like moving even from I guess between novice and hard within the first month, it felt like each level was a grind. You know, I had to really work on my builds and stuff, work on my comps. And then I don't know, maybe just because the power of a couple of the new summoners that came in, they just really pushed the level of my roster up a lot. And Leo coming in pushed my level up a lot. I think getting Emma up to Immortal pushed my roster up a ton as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like I only took a couple really to really make me kind of just skyrocket from where I was. And funny enough, like as a free to play, I feel like I have so many resources.
Yeah.
I got tons of diamonds. I'm able to kind of do most summon events that come up now, especially when I had my first double ticket event recently. Yeah, I had my
I
first.
just got Prism Amulet from this on my free to play. I was stoked.
Did you? I've never
Yeah.
got any of the
I
two
just
big
got it
rewards.
today.
Yeah, I've never
I'm
done
not
it.
going to spend the $5 because I want to keep my little Serena badge in the top left saying I'm a free to play.
Yeah, this is the one thing I've said to people. If it does pop out one of these big rewards, that would be pretty tempting to.
Oh yeah,
To spend a
$5 to double all that. Just wait till the end. Don't buy it early. Don't make that mistake.
No. But yeah, pretty much any time there is a kind of new hero coming in or whatever, since they did the double ticket rewards, I've just been able to get a whole ton of these additional exchange tickets. So the gene hybrids are kind of on farm for a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always got just about enough. I guess because of the ancient altar that I'm doing weekly, I've always felt like I've got enough of the limited tickets to do the next banner.
And the events are so generous. We got Rise of Heroes starting when Twilight ends, and there's just so much good stuff in there.
That's huge, yeah.
It's great.
Actually, again, like Rise of Heroes, it was a really fun, and it's a fun event to do, but now I just kind of walk through it. Whereas
even when your account's like 2 weeks old, like at 2 weeks old, Hell Boss is like pretty hard and a little bit of RNG, but then after that, it's just a breeze.
Yeah. Elite Chapter, same sort of thing. Really, it doesn't scale.
Yep.
Very well. Very early, it's like okay, we've got something to do, but I just feel like the whole game needs a little bit of a big boy pants on and make it.
Elite campaign is pretty hard. Elite campaign's pretty hard. Trying to clear the story and the mines is pretty hard. But that's kind of like a lot of these idle games. They always make the story and like the mine or tower like extremely hard, and they give you like enough chapters where you can really grow in there. So those are like I'm in chapter 51. And I mean, if you get hit by anything, you're dead. And you got to hit them like 200 times to kill them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Are you manualing all of that stuff then if you're trying to beat a level?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because I have never seen another idle game like this that you can actually like aim attacks and stuff.
No, definitely. I think the whole feel of the game, the concept of the game, the attack style, I think it's better than really any game that's out. I honestly do. I feel like the foundation of the game is better than anything else that's out in this genre.
Yeah.
And it just some tweaks around content for late game, and it's a winner. I really love the game. I just feel like at the moment they need to up the ante on the kind of late stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even know this game existed, and actually the staff reached out to me and said,
Right.
"Hey, we like your channel. Check out this game." And I checked out this game. I messaged him back, and I was like, "I love this game. I'm
Yeah.
creating a second channel for this game."
Well, I did a similar thing. They were like, do you want to? They actually said, "Do you want to do some videos? Like paid videos?" I was like, "Well, I'll take a look." I took a look at the game, and I was like, "You know what? I really like this game. I'd rather just cover it. Like, I'd rather, I don't want to do just. I do one-off videos, now and then for games that are out. I did one for Awakened Chaos Era, which I thought was an okay game, but I didn't love the game. I didn't feel like I wanted to play it again and again. So that was just my view on it. But this game, I was like, no, I feel like I could play this game. Like, let's do something a bit more. And yeah, and I have. I've played it almost every day since. And that's 2 and a bit months, and I still don't feel like I'm bored of the game. It just needs that next level of challenge.
Yeah. The Twilight is the only like really big challenge in this game right now. Besides like story in mind, but Twilight is pretty cool. It's just it's a bit stressful at times when you're really trying to rank, because the only way to get those triple S evolution stones is if you're top 10. There's no other way to get them.
And so when you're doing Twilight and you're pushing, if someone dies, are you going in and re-gearing the next in line with literally like their gear, like the best gear that you own?
I have a lot of really geared heroes. This game gives you so much gear that you can, almost get to like 95% of the build with additional sets. So I have basically every single hero in the game built, like fully built out. And sometimes when I get to the end of a stage, I'm throwing 7 teams, 8 teams at the enemy to try to whittle it down before I get my reset the next day.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Well, look, man, I'm probably going to have to end the stream around now, but I do appreciate you coming on and, basically having a chat and going through it. It's been a blast, actually. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. Happy to be here.
Well, look, guys, if you want to check out some more Eternal Evolution content, Dan, perhaps you can throw your link to your channel in chat. And I'll also, if this comes out in YouTube, which it might well do, I'll pin Dan's link down below as well, because he really has got some awesome content. Probably, I'd say I watch your content. I watch Gameplay Horizon, J Diggs, Ivy. Probably they're the 4 channels that I would go to when I'm like, right, what does this guy actually do? Or, what's this hero actually do? Because I don't want to be the person, I'm not the person with that knowledge. I don't try and be that person. But yeah, it's fun really to be able to just kind of relax and be like, let's go and find the knowledge rather than trying to deliver the knowledge.
Right. Yeah, I'm always the guy, day 1 or day 2 after the hero launches to build them up to immortal and test them out. So
yeah. Well, that's where I've been for the last 3 years on Raid. So I quite like not being that person for this game. Actually, it's just nice to sit back and chill and actually just play the game and enjoy the game.
For sure.
Yeah. But anyway, Dan, thank you so much for coming on, and let's chat again soon, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See ya.